Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. Thank you for joining us as always. Our guest author today is a veteran business leader and entrepreneur who blazed the trail as a successful CEO of a multinational company years ago. I'll introduce him soon. But before then, let's explore one of those questions we get asked occasionally. Last week, we explained what e-publishing is and how it is different from traditional publishing. Well, e-publishing produces e-books, e-magazines, e-newspapers, and so on. Everything is going E now. We'll talk a lot more about e-books sometime soon, but for now, let's just say that it has become almost indispensable to have the e-book version of any book. There is a new generation of people all over the world who want nothing but electronic version of books. They are not into paper books at all. So the reality of the world we live in today is that if you have a book you have written, it needs to have an e-book version. If you are planning on writing a book, you need to plan on having an e-book version of it. So, what's that question I hinted on earlier? Here it is. What is an e-reader? An e-reader or an e-book reader is a portable electronic device that is designed primarily for the purpose of reading e-books and periodicals. Any device that can display text on a screen may act as an e-reader. However, specialized e-reader devices optimize portability, readability, and battery life for this purpose. Their main advantage over printed books is portability, since an e-reader is capable of holding thousands of books while weighing less than one book. There are many types of e-readers owned by various companies that manufacture them. Popular ones include Kindle e-readers produced by Amazon, Nook produced by Barnes & Noble, and Kobo e-reader products. So basically, for example, I like my Kindle. My Kindle allows me to go about, just put it in my bag, and I have access to millions of books. And that's not an exaggeration. The Kindle is connected to the Amazon store. The Amazon store has millions of books. So with your Kindle, you can access all those books. Some you can buy, some you get for free, as the case may be. So basically, any device that helps you to be able to read an e-book is an e-reader. Any device. Now, one more thing. You don't have to own a specialized e-reader to be able to read e-books. Your phone, tablets, laptops, and desktops can all be used to read e-books, even though they are not specialized e-readers like a Kindle. It is just that nothing beats actual e-readers for reading e-books, e-magazines, e-newspapers, and other types of periodicals. So, for example, you can download a Kindle app on your phone or laptop. The Kindle app can give you access to over 1.5 million books. You don't need to own a Kindle to use it, but nothing beats having a proper and actual e-reader, particularly one that is very, very good. Personally, I still love my paper books, and majority of readers around the world also do. Nothing like flipping through the pages, smelling the paper, and all that, marking it, being able to mark it. And we still love our books anyway. But I'm also into e-books, and my favorite e-book reader is my Amazon Kindle. I find it extremely useful and enjoyable to use. You can scroll with a Kindle, scroll through the pages, you can highlight text, you can adjust the lighting, and most especially, through it, you can access, like I said before, millions of books. I hope this has been helpful. If you don't have an e-reader, you want to start thinking about investing some money to getting one. But while you don't have one, download any of the apps, and then you can read ebooks, through your other devices. Now, up next is our guest of the week. He is an accomplished business leader entrepreneur, columnist, and author. Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa has spent about 40 years in the pharmaceutical industry, rising from the rank and file level to becoming an iconic figure in the industry, particularly due to his success in leading Nemeth International Pharmaceuticals PLC. He is the author of a number of books, including his latest one titled Wired to Lead. The book contains life lessons he learned from many years of leading different organizations. Now, imagine somebody, a man who has done so well in the corporate world, who has been successful in the corporate world, putting so many of all those experiences that made him successful into one book. I thoroughly enjoyed reading the book. He joins us to explore his new book and personal experiences. Enjoy this. Mazi, nice to have you on Channels Book Club.
My pleasure again, Kule.
Great to have you as always.
Thank you.
And you're still doing it at 70.
This is grace. It's abundant grace.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Nothing like, growing in age and still being very fit and active and everywhere. It's something I pray and dream of.
God will grant you your request.
Amen. Okay, great. Now, you've written so many books, and this is your latest book, Wired to Lead. Before I ask you what inspired it, let me take you up on the title itself.
Okay.
Are people wired to lead? Are people born to lead, or do they learn about leadership?
Either way, some people are born leaders. Some acquire leadership skills and can become leaders. So that's one good thing. You can learn leadership, but it can come to you naturally, just like God gives you some talents. The Bible says some are teachers, some are apostles, some are prophets. That's the same way. Leadership, that's why I wrote the book, because having come this far and looking back, everything that has happened to me seemed to give the impression.
Like prearranged.
Yeah, it was
in a way.
Yeah, because everywhere I got to, before I knew I emerged as a leader, without effort, without, I have only, throughout my life, I have only gotten one position by campaign. That is by telling people, choose me once.
Whoa.
Only once. And that's the position I'm holding as PSM president.
Whoa.
It was a strange thing for me to do. I've never volunteered to ask people to, I could volunteer, but I never campaigned or pressured people, because I knew that leadership is sacrifice. You're going to give your time and you will pay. So,
but with leadership, as with other things, a lot of other things, opportunity must meet with preparation, isn't it?
Correct. The issue is that if you have that innate leadership character, the opportunity presents all the time. Yeah, it presents all the time. If you have that leadership character, anywhere you arrive, you begin to play the leadership role without anybody directing you, without you having title. All of a sudden, people will see you. That's why there's a time in my life I go to a meeting and I won't say a thing. Because the moment I say one or two things, then the next is they are giving me responsibility.
The camera is on you.
They are giving responsibility. They are putting the burden on you. Because it just shows, when they listen to you, hear you, it shows that this guy is willing to give of himself. He's willing to make sacrifice. He's thinking of the bigger picture. He's looking at a future that is better than where we are. Those are things that indicate leadership.
Are some people wired not to lead?
Yes. There are some people who cannot lead. Oh, yes. You waste your energy giving them leadership. They're waiting to be directed. They're waiting to be instructed. Because how do you know people who can lead? Initiative. Some people are just good at carrying out instructions.
Is that as a result of not being wired to lead, or a result of simply not having imbibed the traits of leadership over time?
It is first they are not wired. Because like I say, if you are wired, it's intrinsic. If you're wired, it's intrinsic. Leadership becomes intrinsic. But if it's not intrinsic, and you want to learn, if you understand that this is your nature, people are see you complain or you're not showing up leadership, you can then train yourself. You can then learn the leadership principles and begin to practice them. And over time, people may not see the difference between the person wired and the person who has learned to lead. You may not. But so the person who is not wired, if he doesn't learn, will remain a follower.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a mixture of the tools somehow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And even if you're wired and you then understand that and improve it, then you become much, much better in leadership. That's with your intrinsic talent. You now add from learning, from modeling, from mentoring, then you do much better.
Okay, so you turned 70.
By the grace of God.
By the grace of God. Then you looked back.
Yes.
And those many years of, roles and leadership and responsibilities, and then you decided to put a lot of those things, lessons you learned, into this book. Am I correct about what motivated this book?
Absolutely, you're correct. You're correct because, in life, you get to a point you start asking you, why am I like this? Why have I been through this way? Especially when you do some comparative analysis and you look at your mates, your friends, your family, and you've consistently been in this path, then you say, why? And that's what made me begin to think that I have that innate ability because there are just too many roles. Sometimes when people read my CV, they wonder whether it's the same man or one person or are you divided or are you multiple, I mean, I went somewhere when they introduced me, the guy came out. If I saw my card, he came out. So he said, who is Mazi Sam here? I said, it's me. He said, Mazi Sam, who else is? He said, is there another Mazi Sam? He said when he was in primary school, in the United Nations, when he was in primary school, he had begun to read about me. Went to secondary school, and he can't believe that it's the same guy. I said, well, some of us came out early, So being in the village square longer than most market people who just come and put their trade and walk back.
You've lived a remarkable life. I can't, when I meet people who are much older than I am, I always like to ask, even though the answer to my question is partly in your book.
Okay.
I saw it a bit in your book, but I always like to ask, when you were younger, did you see the life that you've lived? Did you see it play out in your mind?
At a point, it began to play out. This wiring, I recognize it. I mean, let me tell you, when you go through school, in primary school, every time you're leading your class, and you are in everything they do. You go to secondary school. I mean, when I was in secondary school, we had about 7 junior societies. Predominant number of them was president out of 7, or maybe 4 or 5. I used to say, why? And everybody around me used to, especially my seniors, what's wrong with you, this boy? And they're waiting for me to fail in one way or the other. They say, I see, you've overlaid those, you've taken too much. Somehow it didn't happen. So I just told myself, I look at the circumstances around me. Each time I went through situations, I emerged in some place. I said, God has a role for me. God has something, a purpose that he's driving me to. So I've been open to that. So there was a time I used to run away. I got, from advice. I take it easy, Sam. I mean, you're everywhere. We see you everywhere and everything. What's your problem? I said, I don't even know what's my problem. Then you say, okay, let me just slow down. I won't go to this. Then I'll get an internal conflict. That's when I realized that my leg could be paining me. My waist would be paining me.
I guess the clues, the clues are in our childhood. The clues are always there. Maybe a lot of parents just don't see them.
Yeah.
And the individuals themselves don't realize them until later. Okay, so this is collection of lessons learned.
Yes.
Some of the most outstanding lessons you learned over time. And I'll pick a few ones, a few of the chapters that you've read, you know. But the first one that I absolutely love is the power of vision. Talk to me a bit about that, sir.
You see, it's one of the things I discovered early in life. And I have used it over and over and over and over. And it's like an established law. Set out knowing where you're going. Decide that that's a better place to go. And the moment you set out where you're going, everything else follows that. It drives you, because if you say you want to go to Lagos, and I want to get to Lagos Island, that's my destination today, and I have 1 hour to go to Lagos Island, just like you had to come to here now. It determines your speed. It determines which route you take.
Direction.
It determines who you travel with. But if you are going nowhere on a Sunday, and just say, let me leisurely drive around, you can drive around. You can go to, all kinds of places at your own time. No destination, you can stop.
And end up anywhere.
Anywhere you see your friend at the bus stop, you stop. And you guys can hang out. The day ends. But if you are going somewhere, you see your friend at the bus stop, you wave, because you're looking at your time.
And you keep moving.
So your life becomes much more useful. You become, they say I'm a good time manager, and I put it in that book as well. It's because I always have where I'm going. I have a target. I wake up in the morning. Before I wake up, the previous evening, I've looked at my schedule. I balance my book at the end of the day. Did I achieve all the things I planned? If not, I transfer some to tomorrow's schedule, because if I show you my diary, I'm booked. So
is that something you still do till now?
Till this moment, if you walk out in my car, you see my diary. I carry 2 diaries. I carry a hard copy pocket diary. Of course, I use electronic one. My PA does, so I balance, because I can make appointments now. I have to find a way to relate to my PA. So we keep. So the previous night before I sleep, I look at did I do all the things I planned to do? Sometimes I do all, sometimes I don't, because I'm ticking. I rearrange for the next day, and the next day I have planned my day. Like today, I have planned my day. That is the way this happens. So vision is what drives you. It's what sets pace, what creates the motivation. Vision is the big word. But if you want to break it down and bring it out, have a purpose, have an objective, have a goal for your life. As I told people, from what I know now, when I went to the university, if you go to the university and say, I want to leave this school with a first class, it's doable. I want to be the best graduating student, it's doable. But very few people do that. We just go to school.
That's true.
And just whatever we get, we take.
So that vision...
Yeah.
And I like the way you applied it in your book to not just individuals, but organizations and even nations. And you said something that struck me about Nigeria here in page 9. Yeah. I have argued severally that Nigeria's chronic underperformance as a nation derives more from the absence of a uniting vision than from any other factor.
That's true.
That's deep.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Because if you see Nigeria the way we are, you can see that we're playing from different books. We're singing different tunes. Vision means that we're united to a vision. All of us know where we're going. We have then designed a strategy. But the parts can be different. You play alto, I play bass, somebody plays soprano. But when you hear the music, what do you hear? Synchronized music, beautiful to hear. But what do you see in this country? Somebody's talking north, somebody's talking south, somebody's talking religion, somebody's talking ethnicity, somebody's talking resource control, resource liberalization. We don't have an agreement. And no nation, no group, no company can move forward substantially if there's no agreement as to where we're going. And that's why when leaders of this country are saying, let's go back and sit down, let's renegotiate this union, people think it's a joke. And they prefer to be running around in a circle. And I just watch them and see how far you can run. For this nation to move forward, we must first agree how to organize ourselves, where we're going. The guys that came together in 1900 or whatever to form amalgamation had a view of where they were going. That view was truncated. by the coup of
1966.
And we went off course, completely out of sync to what our founding fathers had. That was in my book on Nigeria. I said, dream aborted. Our dream was aborted. Now, we're calling for an opportunity to refocus, set ourselves a vision, and then move. I have spoken about it there. So said, there have been attempts in the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Ambassador Abacha, to start Vision 2010. Reluctantly, I agreed. We tried, do 2020, but nobody has, even 2020 that completed in terms of writing it, adopted by government. But how many people in this country knew about it, except government officials? Yeah. It was not marketed, it was not adopted as a national
and I noticed from your book how each leader comes in and then adopts his own idea. Like President Obasanjo didn't really take that vision 2010 by Abacha. He had his own ideas, and after him, President Yar'Adua had his own ideas, you know, and Jonathan had his own ideas and all that. Anyway. But vision is it. I mean, it's also powerful.
It is.
Then you spoke about hard work. As something you imbibed very early. And I mean, I think hard work makes people live long.
I'm telling you. Because look, in 1982, people have begun to speak to me as if I was about to commit suicide.
Because of the way you were working?
You were working. Sam, take it easy. Why this? What is your problem? The delegation, 82, count that year to now. And 1982, how old was I? Just 32 years old. And there was so much pressure. So I decided to take a holiday. I decided to tour Europe. I was area manager for Pfizer. I lived in Abad then. I decided to, myself alone. Todd came back, took a holiday. When I came back, I fell ill.
Because you took a holiday?
Yeah, I fell ill. Because not only did I take that holiday, but it was just, I tried to reverse my life. Don't work, just take it easy, do the minimum, you know, just so that you can satisfy all these people who want you to live long. You know? But when I now found that I was getting ill, I told myself, the God that wired me hasn't put me in this way. And I'm not going to listen to what people are saying and then even cut short my life. Because if you're sick, what is the meaning of being sick? So hard work does not kill. It is drudgery that kills. I've said so. It's drudgery when you are not happy, when you are doing something, just let me make money. If not for this work, I don't know how my children will go to school, my wife, then you die. Shock.
Again, is this internally driven? Are you wired to be driven? Yes.
You know, one thing leads to another. There's anything foundational. You know, the Bible says that no other foundation except that which have been laid in Christ Jesus. There's certain foundational talent or the way you're constructed, and all this becomes subsets. Because if you have a vision, like I had a vision to achieve in 5 years in Pfizer.
Yeah, you had a 5-year vision.
A 5-year vision, then I had another vision that ended in 10 years, even though I didn't know the exact number, but the end point I knew. When you set yourself a 5-year vision, and you wanted to understand how that business is run in 5 years, a multinational, you didn't have the luxury to work leisurely. You have the luxury, you didn't have it.
The vision was driving you.
It was driving you. So that's the point. Vision is a major impetus for accomplishment, for achievement. Because most vision statements have time. We want to be the best performing company by the year. We want to be, so there's time to it. And that time, therefore, does not allow you to lazy around. Okay? Whether it is corporate vision, and corporate vision, because you now announce it, is a personal vision like mine. I didn't announce it. I've never announced my vision. But people sometimes begin to wonder, there's somewhere this guy is going. He has something in mind, which is fine. But it is you and your God and what you said, your goal. And the moment you accomplish it, there is a reinforcement. It rewards you. You believe that things are possible. Now, when the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, you begin to think it. With God, nothing is impossible. Those things begin to have a meaning to you because it's not just reading them in a book, but you've lived the life.
I hope you have had a good time being with us today. We'll show you the concluding part of that interview on the next episode. So you may want to look out for that. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.